All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner with the Week 5 Giants offensive line report, and we're 4-1, so it feels really, really good. We're going to do an Andrew Thomas segment. We're going to do some stuff on the interior offensive line. We're going to start off with some negative, though, and that's our 7th overall pick, Evan Neal. Stats may not show up, but I thought he struggled in this game. He's just having the same issue, so we'll get into all of that. Make sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll have a film review out later today. So, Giants are winning, so everything feels good. Bad things don't feel as bad. So let's get into it. Evan Neal. So first play versus Preston Smith. So let's watch the feet on this. This is 1, 2, 3. It's the same stuff. I hate to repeat myself every week on the offensive line report, but 1, 2, panic. Not panic, really, but get away from your technique. So now you see the left foot. Instead of dragging, it's totally closing together. You see overextended, leaning, and gets beat around the corner. I'm telling you, man, if I were his coach, and I hate saying this, but he's just got to really focus on keeping the feet going. Keep the feet moving through the block. 1, 2, keep the feet going. Keep them going. Keep them going this way. That's like 80% of the battle is getting your feet right, and then the hands come in after that. Next play. So one thing I've noticed is getting out of a stance a little slow. Like that. This has happened kind of consistently enough to point it out. I mean, I know Thomas is in a 2-point stance here, but we're at our first step, and Thomas is already back here. These guys are already set. It's just something I kind of wanted to point out. This is something we saw in training camp. It's just slow out of. I think that is something you could chalk up to being a rookie a little bit, overthinking pre-snap and stuff. Making sure you got the count right. But I just wanted to point that out. I don't know why I put that so early in the video. Here's a good play, though. Now, it's against 94, who I think is kind of a bad player after watching him in this game. But watch 1, 2, 3. Not perfect footwork, but good enough. 1, 2, 3. Hands on him. You time the punch correct. Good placement with your hands. Now you got your feet wide. You're not leaning. This is what we want to see from Evan Neal. A little bit of counter inside, but that's a good rep for Evan Neal. Here, versus Rashawn Gary. So it's some improvement. Watch the feet. 1, 2, 3. Some improvement. Now I'd like his hips to stay a little square instead of opening up where he's facing the sideline almost. But 1, 2, 3. That's good. That's good. Now you got to get the hands better. Rashawn Gary times up that punch. Gets beat inside. But the feet, not horrible. Just got to be ready to go, just got to be ready to, at this point, if he goes inside, to push off that right foot. And that's where the footwork not being perfect is. Now, because your feet are skinny, he's able to get you off balance and able to get an inside counter on that. This next play is the sack. So this isn't like part of what his problem has been, like the struggling with the aggressive pass sets, but this is, so you're running play action, so which means you want to sell run. So he does a good job getting out there, like a little foot crossover, but again, he's trying to get out there. We're right here. Don't lean. Keep your shoulders back. Don't give him that shoulder and keep the feet moving. and gives up a sack. So does Bredesen. But at this point, this is where being top heavy is killing him. Because you give him that shoulder. You give him that shoulder to use against you. Your feet don't move with it. And you're getting joined up on a sack. Here, but this is where you see like flashes of like, okay, this guy's good. Like, keep the feet moving. Keep like going back and forth. It's against a defensive tackle. It's play action. Wide base, decent posture. He's going outside. Going inside. We're there. So I would like to see him. I would like to see the coaching staff allow him to get more vertical in some of his pass sets. In the run game, had some good plays, some bad plays. Just going to show you a few. Good run out block here. One, two. Delivers the hands. Watch that right hand. See that right hand? It's high. Bring it back inside while keeping your feet moving. That's good movement. That's what you want. Next play. Come low. Hands low. Keep the feet moving. Just keep the feet moving. It's not a perfect block, but keep the feet moving. And this next play is where his bad run plays have shown up. So it's hard to see because the D lineman, but see where the marker is, see where his foot is. They're running duo, so double teams. You want to step together into double teams. Now he's not going to have the double team on this. These are going to be the double teams, but watch where that first step. It's all the way back there. It steps back. That forces him to catch instead of attack the block. And a better D lineman is shedding this and making the tackle. Luckily, 94 is not very good. At least I don't. Or he had a bad game at least. I don't really know much about him. So definitely some stuff to improve on. They're protecting him a lot in pass protection too. Like the offense has changed these past 2 weeks. We're seeing all this play action, all this boot action. A lot of it has been because of Evan Neal. So I would like to see him get to some more vertical sets. Maybe that's something they do allow him to do, or just like, hey, this is what we do, and you got to get good at this. So let's take a look at Andrew Thomas, though. All right, let's get into Andrew Thomas in this game. Gave up a sack that ended up not counting because of defensive holding. So that obviously would have been his first sack of the season, and he was bad on that. Overall, pass blocking wise in this game, I didn't see the dominance that we kind of come to know Andrew Thomas for. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this guy's wrecking the game, but there wasn't that like pure dominance that we've come to know with Andrew Thomas. But we're going to focus on the run game as well. But we'll start out. By the way, I got a new red pointer. How do you like that? All right, first play. But this is the dominant type of stuff we come to know out of Andrew Thomas. Fires out of his stance. 1, 2, 3. Quick. Hands come wide. Feet wide. Good knee bend. Not leaning at all. Good arm extension with some bend. Awesome play. Next play. You just see the flash. Lets him flash the athleticism. Like an aggressive set. So, quick. We're engaged. He rips upside. You just got a little bit of lean here from Thomas. But you just see how quick his feet are. That he's able to wash this guy around 12 yards behind the pocket. Or 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, you live with that. It's not a dominant rep, but you live with that. Here, the pass rusher quits on this because the ball ends up getting thrown. But I just love how smooth and quick he gets into this hop step. Like he feels the bull. Defensive end gets into his chest, and then immediately he sees the bull coming, and then immediately wash both feet in the air. Both feet in the air, hop, flips his hips back around, shut it down. Now, something I've noticed is because guys can't get around the edge, he's not giving hands. Like, we'll see on this play. We'll see Rashawn Gary goes to power on this, and not a great rep for AT. So 1, 2, 3. So see how the hands are coming wide like this? I think that's something that he needs to get better at. Now, something that Andrew Thomas has done in his growth is that in the beginning of his career, he would punch early and lean. So with his athleticism and his quick feet, what a lot of guys do, and he's doing, is we're not giving them hands to kill you on. Like, we're not giving you hands to, work their pass rush moves against. But with that, leaves your chest exposed. And that gives you, that leaves you exposed to power moves. Which, again, he recovers from this. It's not the worst rep. But nonetheless, your hands being out here, that's not great. So maybe he wants to go back to some of that two-hand punch stuff. I know he's put an emphasis on working his hands independently. But that just could be something that, as the more tape he puts on film, the more guys are going to go after him. I think guys are going to be like, I'm just going to go speed the power against Andrew Thomas because I'm not going to get around the corner on him. I'm probably not going to beat him inside. And he's not going to give me any hands to really work my hands against. So here was the sack versus Rashawn Gary, who's a hell of a pass rusher. Under center play action, so your aggressive jump set. Gets to his mark. And the inside foot maybe could step a little more, but he pushes off the left foot like you want. And Gary just times up his punch and swipes those hands. And it's just, Gary's quick and beats him inside. Plays it into Ben Bredesen and, causes a pile right here. So a good move by Gary by not trying to get totally upfield right here, but to play into this because instead of letting Thomas recover. But it doesn't go on the stat book, but that's a sack. That's just flat out. That should have been Andrew Thomas' first sack of the season. And then here on something very similar, essentially the same blocking scheme. This is where you see the good. Get aggressive on it. I know the hands come wide, but they land. And defeat. Wide, good knee bend. He wants to go around the corner, we'll take him. He wants to go back inside, we'll take him back inside. So just, that's what he's capable of in those pass sets. Let's look at the run game. First, this run out on this split zone. I wish Feliciano didn't get pushed back because this could have been a nice run right off of Thomas and Bredesen. Just good posture. Like hands landing inside, not really leaning. Good knee bend, wide base, keep the feet moving, and just widening this edge. Not some dominant rep, but a really good rep. If Feliciano is able to make this block and cross face, which is a tough ask against Kenny Clark, but this could have been a nice little run for Saquon Barkley, but he's forced to run into the guy that Andrew Thomas is blocking. Here they're going to work a double team on a duo run, split zone. So maybe it's duo with the wham block because these two step together. But nonetheless, does take a bit of a false step on this. But you see the power to just get all this movement. Here on this QB read option, just down block. Put 90 on his ass for him, or put 90 on the ground. Don't really love Jones taking this hit, but I guess you just got to live with that with Jones. Here they're going to run a squirm play. Just get to the linebacker, Quay Walker. Like great inside hands. Just fire out of your stance. Don't come in too hot. Hands land. Feet wide, not leaning. And drive this linebacker back. And then this last one, he's the backside on a draw play, just this hinge block. You just see the strength in his hands. So he's just stepping right and then trying to swing this guy out here. You know, just seal it off because they're running the draw. So he does that. Great job. And just watch the extension. Get a defensive tackle off balance. Step, punch, extend. So not the dominant game that you want from Andrew Thomas. Not not a bad game. But again, I think we're at a different standard for 78 right now. So that's Andrew Thomas. All right, going to finish off with something that we've never done on the offensive line report. And there's a couple reasons why I'm doing it. The main reason, though, is we are 4-1. And I just didn't want to do a segment on any of these interior offensive linemen because they all played pretty badly. Kowinski did some decent stuff in the run game, but also nothing great either. Feliciano really struggled. Bredesen struggled after having a couple of good games. So I want to do something that we've never done. We're going to go through Daniel Bellinger's blocks. I think he's been a good blocker. Like, he's helped with the run game. He's a rookie. So we're going to just go through some of his blocks to finish this off because we're 4-1. And I want to kind of have good vibes to the O-line report. So first play, lined up right here. He started at fullback in motion over here. Then he's going to motion. This is the first play of the game, by the way. Coming out hot. So just like a bat out of hell, full speed. You push Rashawn Gary out, get him where you want, and then immediately turn, load your hands into the 21, keep your feet moving, and block them off the screen. Like, block them off the screen. I mean, watch this in full speed again. This is just, when Bellinger's in space, what he's good at, and we'll see some other stuff where it's not the best block in the world, but it's just quick, using his hands and getting leverage. Bam. Bam. Good block. Next play. Lined up over here. Coming across the line. So, Bredesen flips his hips on this. Doesn't slow down Bellinger at all. Doesn't really slow down. Comes tight off of this. You don't want to come wide on this. Comes tight off of this. Picks up Quay Walker, a first-round running back. And then Quay Walker tries to disengage. Flip his hips. Get low. Keep your hands inside. Now Saquon Barkley ends up not taking this outside because this Darnell Savage fits the run on the outside. But let's just pretend that this guy got sucked up in here, or Sills blocks this. I mean, bam, gets on it, flips his hips. Good stuff. Next play. Lined up right here. Coming out fast and in control. Loads up. Lands the hands. Can't really see it because of all the mess, but wide feet. Good block. Let's watch it again. Next play. This is, you motion them in. Giants are running like a form of like a squirm play, but instead of pulling the center. That's Kenny Clark, man. He's a good player. He dominated these three guys a few times. And to just be able to hold that block just for even a second or so against a really good defensive tackle in Kenny Clark. And I know it's not perfect. Hands are a little outside. But just to be able to sustain that for the second that you need. We see a nice Matt Breida run to get you down to 1st and goal. Here, it's the Saquon big run on the Wildcat. And again, so with tight ends, when you're in space, like, I think, we grade tight ends on a curve. We're not going to grade them the same way we grade Andrew Thomas or Feliciano in their blocks. But a lot of times it's about speed and leverage, and that's what Bellinger brings to it. Like, he always hits with the right angle, hits it fast. A lot of players on this are able to jump inside, but Bellinger comes at him fast. Bam. Now, this guy pops him. But guess what? You can muscle him up all you want. He got out to you. He did his job. And now Saquon's running. By the way, Saquon, you veer this back out. This might be 6, but I'm not going to complain about a 40-yard run. Then lined up right here, this is a pass play versus Rashawn Gary. This is a guy who got a sack on Andrew Thomas that got called didn't count because of a defensive holding. He's sustaining a Rashawn Gary block for almost 4 seconds. Gets his hands, feet, keeps his feet moving, and then finally he's able to beat him. At that point, Jones is pulling the trigger, hitting Darius Slayton on a crosser. And then I just threw this one in for good measure. Touchdown. Put in number 94 in hell. Whoop! Whoops. Whoop! Whoop! And he could have thrown this, by the way. He could have thrown this to Tanner Hudson. Maybe he should have. But dives in and gets the second touchdown this season. So I just wanted to do a quick segment on Bellinger I know some people have asked about it, and I'm like, nah, it's the O-line report. But I didn't want to have bad vibes on the O-line report this week. So like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll have a film review out later. And maybe next week I will ditch an Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal segment, and I will just do the interior. Because I do feel a little bad. Like, everyone's gotten a segment besides John Feliciano at this point. But I hate kind of doing segments on bad players who are stopgaps. But anyways, appreciate you guys. See you on the next one. Let's go Big Blue.